Hello, welcome back. Right, strange. I've spent the best part of the last couple of videos moaning really quite a lot about storage space and how difficult it was to build up a collection of hardware and software if you are stuck in a small corner of your living room, as I am. And so what do? I go out and buy something else to compound that. From Mark Payne again. I think I've just paid for the third turret to be built on his house now. But thanks ever so much, Mark. Really appreciate it. So yeah, why? Well, I buy these things not just to sit on a shelf. I buy them with the intention of using them. Because I've sort of fallen fairly out of love with modern gaming. It just doesn't really do it for me anymore. The sort of pain in the arse of, you know, you got to buy extra stuff and downloadable content and downloading and installing stuff. It just seems to be a royal pain in the backside. And this squeaky chair is really starting to annoy me now. I really should do something about that. So yeah, what have I got now? Right, okay, let's have a look. As you can see there, got a BBC Micro. This is a computer I've always longed for because I think it just looks absolutely fantastic. And I've got memories of it, as we all most probably have, from back in the day when we were at school. Obviously it won the BBC sort of contract, etc. It was incredibly popular in schools. Most schools had several, mine certainly did. And to utilise them we had computer clubs every, can't remember what day of the week, but one lunchtime a week there'd be like a computer club for each particular year, and it depended who you got. If you got Mr. Webb, he made you sit there and just type things out and just draw boring graphs and stuff, and it wasn't particularly any fun. But Mr. Jones, if he took the computer club, he had a BBC Micro and all he was interested in was playing games, so that was brilliant. It was pot luck as to which one of them you got. But I've always wanted one of these. My friend Mark had one, and it's huge. And if you dropped it and it landed on your toe, it'd do some damage. You know, it would. It's a hefty old beast. It's got a really good feel about it. It's released in, well, it says 1981 here. Originally in two variants, Model A 16K, Model B 32K. Now I'm presuming this is a Model B. I can't see anywhere where it says it's a Model B, but I'm hoping it is, etc. And it just looks absolutely fantastic. Like I say, it's a huge beast, even compared to the other things that I've got. Number of ports around the back for RGB, RS423, whatever that is, your cassette port, analog in, I don't know what that means, and Econet, but there isn't anything in there, and your video out and UHF out, and a power plug, and built-in power plug, and on-off switch. And then on the bottom, I want to be really careful that I don't drop this. You've got some more sort of ports, etc. Now if you look to the left there, that sort of shiny silver thing to the just to the side of the ribbon there, that is a device called a Turbo MMC, which allows you to load BBC games from SD card, which is really handy, because like I said, I obviously can't go and do building up more collections of this, that and the other, so I've really got to sort of try and be cute as to how I develop these systems. Now my wife, bless her, didn't really put up much objection to me getting this, because she also didn't ask an awful lot about it. So me being an honourable gentleman, I didn't say anything about it. I was like, all right, okay, blah blah blah. And the first thing when it came today, she said, when I took it out of the box and plonked it on the desk, the first thing she said was, "Where's it going to go then?" So I'll get to that in just a second. I still haven't thought about where exactly I'm going to put it, but yeah, I'm really happy to have it in the collection. Now, if I say anything that's wrong or you know, slightly misleading, etc., I know very little about this machine, other than things that I've sort of found on YouTube, etc. So please correct me if I'm wrong about anything. Now, I believe it's the follow-up to the Acorn Atom, and Acorn being a company that was formed by amongst other people, Chris Curry, when they splintered off from Sinclair Research Limited. There was a competition to design a machine to be endorsed by the BBC for a computer program, and both Sinclair and Acorn entered that competition alongside a couple of other companies with machines, and this won the contract. And like I say, I mean, it's a really nice, fun machine. 32K, really nice, chunky graphics. BBC games always seem to have, and the sound from them, if you're familiar with them, although you have got the C64 with its SID chip and the Amstrad and the Spectrum with their sort of own little sort of jingly things, BBC games always had that kind of sound of like a proper arcade, an old style arcade to me. Especially some of the shooting games, they seem to have the sort of like shooting and explosion sounds. Like if you were walking along the seafront as you were approaching the arcade, you could hear all the sort of Space Invaders type sort of games going off like 100 yards before you actually got anywhere near them. And that to me is how a lot of these games sound. Now there is an SD card with some files on it. I believe the program is Beeb MMB, but unfortunately some of the games on the disc seem to have been sort of corrupted slightly. So if anyone knows how I can, you know, re-download onto the SD card those files, etc., then please let me know, because I am a technological half-wit. Now, this arrived with me setting it up on the computer, pressing the power button on, and the prompts coming up on the screen, and I suddenly realised I didn't have a bloody clue how to load anything or how to search for anything, etc. Fortunately, I found a YouTube video straight away of a BBC with exactly the same device fitted, and it was a godsend because it told me what commands to load in, etc, etc. Now, Mark did also send me some games. Oh shit, which I have just dropped. Oh, bollocks. Oh, that's where that was. Oh, right. Organisation, Baz. I just found a bottle of clove oil up there. I was looking for ages ago. I haven't been able to find it for ages because I've got a bad tooth. I should get checked out. Obviously, like the BBC came with games that loaded on tape as well. I haven't got a tape recorder. And the games that you sent with me were Mutant Invaders and Breakout, Mind Out, Creepy Cave, from Bug Bite Software, a game called Oblivion, don't know that, 3D Space Ranger from Microbyte, Contraption from, I don't know who that's from, Icon, and what's that, the Golden Figurine from, who's that from? From Atlantis. So, you know, obviously I'm not able to play any of those, so I just thought, oops, oh dear. So I just popped them there for now. Now, like I say, I'm going to show you it in operation. It does work. I have been sort of playing with it, etc. Just to sort of see, I'm really happy that I've got it. I mean, there were some great games on the BBC Micro, and there are some games you wouldn't expect. On the card is listed Alienate, Way of the Exploding Fist, Uridium. I didn't know, well, I knew Way of the Exploding Fist had a version for the BBC Micro. I didn't know Uridium did. And I've checked out a YouTube video, and it looks really good. Obviously there's bits missing from it, but it plays really well by the look of things. Loads of other stuff, so it's another blank canvas for me. And another way that I can do... Oh, there is a version of Commando on there as well. I did play that and it's shit. 4-way sort of comparisons with the Amstrad, the BBC, the Commodore 64 and the Spectrum. Like I say, these aren't just to sit on shelves. Now, if you have memories of the BBC Micro from back in the day, I think everyone's school had one, and everyone knew a rich or incredibly jammy mate who had one. And one final point I want to make is, you know, just realising how sort of crowded the home computer scene was back then. I know, especially from British products. So I know, although there's ZX Spectrum, the Amstrad, and yes, the Commodore 64 were the three sort of most popular. There was the BBCs, there was the Acorn Electron, there was the Auric and the Auric Atmos, there was the Dragon 32. So there was quite a lot of choice, really, and I've seen quite a few videos where people have most of those systems. Things like the Elan Enterprise as well. That's a really nice looking machine, and it sold about 4 units, I think. Now, I'm not sure if that was a British one actually, but anyway, there was so many sort of products on the market, and I remember you could go into the shops, like your Debenhams, your WH Smiths and your Boots, and you know, there'd be several computers there you could choose from, some better than others, and some sank and others swam. But what this video is about BBC Micro. So I'm just going to power it up and just show you very, very quickly that SD card thing that I spoke about. Now, please share your memories of this machine, whether or not you know it, whether or not you're new to it, like I am. Like I say, although I did play games on it, I've not touched a real one. What do you want, dog? What? I've not touched a real one for 30 odd years. I do have the BBEM emulator, which is a fantastic emulator. If you want to play some BBC games, go and check that out. And also the question I asked about the other computers that I mentioned, the Dragons, etc. Right. How long's that bit gone on for? Bloody hell, Baz, you can break a record for yourself there. Right, let's get down to it. Hello, welcome back. Right, I've turned the BBC on, and I'm at the sort of boot screen there. You can see, yeah, BBC Computer 32K, so it's a B. And then you've got Turbo MMC, which is the name of the device that's been added to allow SD cards to be fitted, and then Basic. Now, right, I've got it written. I had it. Oh, for God's sake, what have I done with a bit of paper? Balls. Right, okay. Right, to access that disk thingamajig, I've got to do an asterisk, then exec, then an exclamation mark, then boot. Got to type boot. And you can see it brings up the contents of the disk. Now, the card. Now, like I said, some of these files don't work, unfortunately. But what I'm going to do, just to show you, seeing as I've eulogised quite a lot about the BBC version of Chucky Egg, I'm going to head straight to that. Now, the BBC has got, see, look, you can see files there, Airwolf, Alienate. Yeah, the BBC has got a fantastic keyboard. Really, really is a great keyboard to use, and I'm going to just very, very quickly show you. I love the sound, the sort of clacky sound it makes. Everything feels really sturdy about the BBC Micro. Right, where are we? Okay, so we're at Chucky Egg. Now, if the picture looks a bit fuzzy, the TV screen looks a bit fuzzy, that is to do with the TV, I'm pretty certain, and not the computer itself, because I have the same problem if I tried to put the Spectrum on it just through the normal sort of aerial lead, which is what this is using. So clearly I'm going to have to invest in some kind of monitor or something like that, which is another thing that I'm going to have to hide from my wife. Right, okay, let's press return. You see what I mean? That sound is coming out of the speaker. if I turn up the TV volume, then I'm just getting interference through that thing. So yeah, I don't think this computer is, or this TV is best suited to the computer. Right, I like this, so I'm going to be shit. You know I am, because I'm just as bad at this as I am at the at the Spectrum version. Right, so I want to define my keys, so I'm going QAOP space as normal, and then S to start. We'll have one player. So you can see, like, this card device is an absolute godsend. And hopefully you can sort of hear, even though I'm rabbiting all over it, what I said about the sort of sound from the BBC. I think it's great. Now, please, 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 I know games like Revs came out on the thing, Elite sort of started on the BBC, but I can't play that game at all. I've never been able to understand it or do anything on it. But if there are any other hidden sort of gems I should be checking out, any must-plays, then let me know, because like I said, a lot of the files on that card don't work. And so games that I was looking to try, like Repton, I've never played any of those. Exile, that I really was interested in having a look at. They really look sort of fantastic. Now, BBC games have this kind of chunkiness about them, I think. And I think it... come on. I think it really, really adds a lot to the game. You know, if a game is... if a game is good, it doesn't matter what the graphics are like. Does it? And we've seen that time and time again over the sort of course of the years. This is the bit I always mess it up at. Fuck's sake. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. I'm very... what? I'm so glad to have this and a very understanding wife. Oh shit! Have I knackered myself up there? I did. Yeah, the quality of the TV it isn't doing the sort of picture justice. I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's. I thought of the computer, not the TV. I'll just show you one more game. So let's. I've shown you a good. I'll show you a bad. Let's have a look at Oh, I've got to type the thing in again, haven't I? Yeah, you Burke. What was it? Exec. Boot. Right. Let's have a quick look at... Not at all, have we designed pet? Oh my god. Where's it gone? 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 Let's have a look at Commando on the BBC. Now, again, this kind of thing, once the game starts, it's alright, but I get this kind of interference thing. But once we're into it here, it seems to be okay. Right, now, another thing that I've noticed is that the default keys seem to, for some reason, be colon and left thingamajig. I can never remember what it's called. For up and down, and then ZX for left and right. So again, I've said this before, I wonder if people who created it were left-handed. And is it return for fire? Now, I'm sorry, I love Commando, and I know lots of other people do, but this looks not much cop. But then, perhaps it's just me not being able to play the game very well. Ooh. You know, and this is sort of exposing the BBC's limitations to an extent, I suppose. But you know, there was good and bad on every platform, wasn't there? Oh, he dead. Right, come on. Game over. Right, okay. Yeah, I didn't rescue many hostages. Don't count that as a review of Commando. I was just sort of showing you it. Okay, I'm appreciative of the fact that this video has gone on for a bloody long time. Thanks ever so much for watching it. If you like it, please let me know. If you wish to subscribe, please do so. But please, please, please take the time to join in the discussions, because that's what it's all about. Goodbye.